I had quite the confidence being a Linux sysadmin from before, and then right after I passed OSCP, I think the Dunning-Kruger diagram hit me, where you feel like really confident and you don't know anything. So I was like there on the interview. I was like, man, this guy's got nothing on me, man. Whatever they ask me, I can answer. They cannot hit me with any question that I don't know. And I went with the thing is that I went with a huge smile as well. So that's very important as well. So make the people that you talk to actually entertain them a little bit, like make them smile, make them laugh. If you make them laugh, you're gonna pass the interview.
Welcome to the Hacker's Cache, the show that decrypts the secrets of cybersecurity one byte at a time. I'm your host, Kyser Clark, and today I have Vladimir Ichkov, a senior pentester with over 15 years of combined experience in system administration and offensive security. He holds both the OSCP and OSWE certifications. Vladimir has a reputation for strong analytical skills, deep technical knowledge, and a passion for hacking that extends well beyond his professional work. So, Vladimir, thank you so much for coming on the show. Go ahead and unpack your experience and background for the audience.
Sure, no problem, Kaiser. Thank you for having me here. Wow, that sounds impressive. I must have socially engineered my LinkedIn profile really good. But anyway, so yeah, a little bit about me. I currently work as a pen tester at Bank of America. I've been with them for about 3 years. And then before that, I worked in a consultancy company for another 2 years. So in terms of pen testing, I have about 5 years of experience. So my other 10 are from my background as a Linux system administrator, which I did a long time ago. And from them, I switched to cybersecurity. So basically, that's my professional experience so far.
Perfect. And I'm a similar background, just less years. I had 6 years of system administration experience in the United States Air Force, and now I have 1 year as a pen tester. So, yeah, being a sysadmin has really helped me become a pen tester. So, I'm curious what your take is, and how has your system administration experience shaped the way you do pen tests today?
Oh yeah, definitely. So it helped me a lot. So I had strong fundamentals in Linux operating systems when I was a sysadmin. I learned quite a lot at that time, and then I actually started learning a little bit about computer programming and software engineering as well. So I started practicing with the C programming language, which gave me pretty good fundamentals into the programming field as well. So it helped me a lot when I transitioned to cybersecurity, and when I decided to go for a pen tester role, that actually really helped me with the preparation for the OSCP exam. So it literally took me, I think, about 3 months to actually get ready, prepare, and actually take and pass the exam.
And why did you go from system administration into cybersecurity? And why did you choose ethical hacking and pen testing within cybersecurity over the other cybersecurity roles? What drove that transition for you?
Sure. So why I switched actually because I always thought that something was missing when I was doing system administration. I loved playing with Linux systems and networking and stuff like that. But then I was like, okay, so maybe I should switch to software engineering. Maybe I should become a programmer. And then after playing with a bit of programming and the C language and Python and stuff, I was like, okay, well that doesn't sound like me. Like it's fun to create programs, but something is missing here. And then I still remember back in the day, one of my friends discovered this website that was like a contemporary CTF. Basically, I didn't even know what a CTF was at the time, and he was like, dude, check this out, this is really cool stuff. So you gotta go from a level to a level and basically pass different levels, and you gotta find like flags and stuff. It's really fun, and then it's under Linux, and it explores some topics like buffer overflows. So then I actually, my first experience with hacking was creating buffer overflows on 32 bits systems. At the time, there was no ASLR, so there was no randomization of addresses and things like that. So it was much easier to actually grasp the concept. So I remember reading that article that everybody read at the time from the Frack magazine. It was called Smashing the Stack for Fun and Profit. It was a really cool article describing basically buffer overflow. So then I learned how to actually exploit buffer overflows. in Linux systems, and I was really excited about that. And I was like, okay, so well, what kind of job I can get with this? So at the time, I didn't even know that pen testing existed. So many years later, actually, uh, the same friend that actually we were hacking with, he was like, okay, so why don't you? Because I was not doing actually Linux system administration anymore. I was in a completely different field. So the guy told me, well, why don't you get back to hacking? To the things that we loved back when we were like in high school. And I was like, bro, I really missed the train on this one. Like it's been quite a while. Like I don't even know if I can still type commands on Linux. And he was like, well, I'll tell you what to do, and then you can get a job with this. I was like, well, what kind of job? They actually pay you money to do this? And he said, yeah, there's this job called a pen tester. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, penetration tester. And I was like, okay, well, let me look it up. It turned out that actually such job existed in LinkedIn. So I looked up also the salaries about this. I was like, okay, so I'm still like in disbelief. I was like, okay, this is something weird. Do they pay good money for that? Well, it turned out that they pay actually okay money with this, and there's quite a lot of job offers on LinkedIn. And my friend told me, well, the only thing that you gotta do is just pass OSCP, and then you can get a job. And I'm like, pass what? All right. So I looked up OSCP, some kind of a certificate about pen testing or something. And I was like, okay, so let me check if there's OSCP on LinkedIn. So it turned out a lot of job offers actually require OSCP. And my friend said, well, you got to sign up for Hack the Box. Go play some Hack the Box machines. As soon as you hack a few and watch these videos by this guy called IPSEC on YouTube that we all love very much, and then hit me up later. So I started with that, and I really got intrigued right away off the bat. So at that time, Hack the Box actually required you to hack your registration in order to get an account. So it was actually a lot of fun to with some JavaScripts and stuff. And then I got a kick from it, and then I started playing Hack the Box. And as soon as I solved 6 machines, I remember I signed up for OSCP. I was like, bro, I'm going for this, and that's how it started. So after that, I took the exam. I got really lucky that I passed from the first time. I got stuck really bad, so like 12, 13 hours in, I was like, like halfway there. Like I got like 60 points out of 70. I think that it was the required, and I got really stuck. But then luckily, I was able to pass through, and pretty much the rest is history. So uh, it literally took me 2 weeks after I actually fixed my LinkedIn profile and I put that I have OSCP to get a job. They hired me in 2 weeks. So for those people that actually bash on OSCP and OffSec in general, well, this is a real world example.
Man, I love that what you said there at the end, and that's actually a topic that I wanted to cover, and I was gonna cover on a solo episode, but you brought it up, so I'm gonna cover it here. So you got your OSCP, and then quickly after that, you got the OSCP. Sorry, you found a job after that, and you said there's people bashing OSCP, and I've also seen people bashing OSCP. I've actually seen people say, "I regret getting the OSCP." I'm not gonna mention names. Actually, I don't even remember their name, to be honest with you. That's
I
how
saw
crazy
that
they were.
recently actually. Somebody was
Yeah, I'm
saying
sure
that they're
a lot of people saw it, but it was just someone complaining about the OSCP, how they regretted getting it because they couldn't find a job, and here you are finding a job after getting OSCP. I found a job. What I think the OSCP was one of the biggest keys to my success landing my first pen testing job. And without it, I don't think I would have found a job as quick as I did. We had a similar experience with the OSCP as well. I got stuck 15 hours in too with one flag left. But yeah, so the reason why I want to bring this up is because like what do you think the big difference is between you and the person who passed OCP that can't find a job? What do you think is the key separator?
Well, it turns out so when I look in hindsight, I think probably the soft skills that I have when I'm on an interview, which I didn't have at all, but it looks like they worked for me. I thought that I had none, just like some technical skills and stuff. So in the beginning, I didn't have much confidence in presenting myself on the interviews. So I think that's what helped a lot. So a lot of people actually, I think they fall back behind on this. So they might actually have to work a little bit on how they actually show themselves on the interview.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. And that's actually not the first thing that I think of as why this person couldn't find a job because this post also had something about how they never worked in tech, they never wanted to work in tech, they just want to go straight into cybersecurity. And I think that's the key to success is like having that tech background, like you did, like I did. You had that system administration background. I had that system administration background. So once you get that OSCP, it does really open up a lot of doors for you because you have that experience. And I think a lot of people think like the cert is what gets you in the door, and that's not necessarily true. You need the cert plus the experience. And I know people out there are like, how do I get the experience without getting a job? Like you got to start at the low level. Like you have to be willing, in my opinion, and you might disagree with me, Vladimir, but you have to be willing to take those entry level tech roles, the help desk roles, the sysadmin roles, network engineer, whatever it is, and be willing to work those jobs before you get into cybersecurity. What's your take on that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that I had quite the confidence being a Linux sysadmin from before, and then right after I passed OSCP, I think the Dunning-Kruger diagram hit me. Where you feel like really confident and you don't know anything. So I was like there on the interview. I was like, man, this guy's got nothing on me. Man. Whatever they ask me, I can answer. They cannot hit me with any question that I don't know. And I went with a well. The thing is that I went with a huge smile as well. So that's very important as well. So make the people that you talk to actually entertain them a little bit, like make them smile, make them laugh. If you make them laugh, you're gonna pass the interview. That's how I
No,
feel right now when I'm actually interviewing people at work. Because right now I'm on the other side of the fence where I actually have to interview people for pen testers like once in a while. And I'm like, well, I see how people are on the other side. And then I'm like, okay, what kind of person do I want to hire? I want to hire people that are maybe like close to me, like curious people, enthusiastic people that go out there and like show their skills. And even if they're not that skillful, this can pass if they can make me laugh or like say something stupid or like a joke or something. I don't know at the right time. So it's really important to work on those skills as well.
but yeah, that's a golden nugget of wisdom right there. I appreciate you unpacking all that. And I don't get an opportunity to talk to many people who get to sit on the other side of the interview table who actually bring in people into these pen testing roles. So I'm gonna have to ask you, what is like some of the biggest red flags that you see from people interviewing? Like you bring them in, you brought them in for a reason because you saw something on their resume, something on their LinkedIn profile that looked like made it look like they were qualified for the position, but then they come in and you say soft skills is important and you have to like the person. But is there anything beyond that where like people like say some like do some certain thing that just it's immediate like nah this isn't a good fit for our company? Like what are some of the red flags out there that you're seeing?
I'm trying to think actually. I was not the person who picked the people for interviews. So at the end of the day, I don't really care about their resumes as well. If they actually made it up to that interview, uh, the resume is not important for me. So I sit in front of you, I see you for the first time, you see me, I start asking you questions, and then from then on I try to go deeper, ask different in different directions, and I want to see if you actually are enthusiastic about it, if you actually try to think, even if you give me the wrong answer, but you actually elaborate a little bit, try to discover the actual right answer. That's very important for me.
Okay, yeah, that's a huge important thing that I try to tell people like, yeah, you never want to lie in the interview, and if you don't know the answer, it's okay to not know the answer, and it's okay to have, tell the interviewer like, hey, I don't know this, but I can learn it, or this is what I know about it. I don't know the rest of it, but at least I know this, this, and this about it. And yeah, that's very good wisdom there.
I think I've stumbled upon people who actually, when you said red flags, well, it's not exactly a red flag, but some people try to give you like boilerplate responses of questions. Like they learn something, but once you start like tweaking it a little bit, and they block. So this is something that I've seen as well, which uh, obviously probably will not gonna work with me, because I'm gonna start digging until you get stuck somewhere, or I get stuck somewhere. Maybe you know better, more stuff than me. It's actually not. It's not improbable as well, but that's the whole point. Engaging in a cool pen testing conversation.
Nice. Well, yeah, thank you so much for those tips and tricks. I'm sure you're helping people out who are trying to break in the field as a pen tester. Before we dive into deeper in our discussion, we got to get to the security mad libs. Audience, those who are new to the show, Vladimir will have 40 seconds to answer 3 Mad Libs or fill in the blank questions. If he answers all 5 Mad Libs within 40 seconds, he'll get a bonus Mad Lib that's unrelated to cybersecurity. So, Vladimir, are you ready?
I guess I am as ready as I can be.
Here we go. Your time will start as soon as I stop asking the first question.
Hmm.
Vladimir, the most understood role in cybersecurity is
Pentester.
the last time I panicked during a test was because
Time was running out.
if I could remove one law that affects hackers, it would be
Oh, drug possession.
my hacking playlist always includes
The offspring.
the fastest I've gotten root was.
Oh, 10 seconds.
That's really incredibly fast. You know what also is incredibly fast? Your answers. You got it in 37 seconds. Congratulations.
Oh man, you really caught me off guard with those a little bit.
Yeah, you did great, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the point of it. Just keep you on a toes. A little fun mini game. I really enjoy these part of the show.
I plead the
Um,
Fifth Amendment of the United States not to incriminate myself.
absolutely. So let's go ahead and do the bonus question. In the bonus question, you can explain as much or as little as you want to. You can even dodge a question entirely if you don't think it's worth talking about. But here it is. It's a little silly, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask you. If you could swap lives with an animal, you would be.
A cat. Now, do I have to elaborate on this? Why?
You don't have to if you don't want to. I was just waiting. I was giving you the space to. If you don't want to, then you don't have to.
So we're gonna be talking about cats, huh? Oh, that's a lovely
Well,
topic. I think a lot of people can relate to that, right? So, what's your favorite Linux command, right? Cat. How do you read a file? Actually, it's funny that it's called cat. But anyway, so we have what? What do you have? We have a cat. We have head command. We have a tail command. So all kinds of animal stuff related. Why I would be a cat? I don't know, and just love cats in general. I thought that they're fascinating animals. I love them for being super curious, yet doing really demented stuff all the time, and also being very aggressive at the same time. So kind of relates to my character as well, a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much the answer to the question.
yeah, I love your explanation, and I also would pick cat because I love cats. I have 2 cats myself, and my spirit animal is actually a white tiger because I feel like I'm ferocious, but I don't fit in with the crowd all the time, and that's why I'm a white tiger. And yeah, cats are cool because they're independent, they are curious, and they are cute, soft, and cuddly if you treat them right. But if you mess with them, they will absolutely fight back, and that's kind of
Yeah,
my mentality with life. So yeah, great analogy.
awesome.
Also, another Linux thing, another cybersecurity thing related to cats, Netcat. Can't forget about
Netcat.
Netcat.
Netcat. Yep. Yep. Don't leave home without it, right?
So your most interesting response from the security Mad Libs was the most misunderstood role in cybersecurity is penetration tester. And I agree with you, but before I explain why I think it's a pen tester, I want to hear why you think it's a pen tester.
Oh, actually, now I hear the question. I told the most understood role, and I was like, "Whoa!" Now misunderstood. Well, I guess it can go both
Misunderstood.
ways. Why pen tester? Well, if it's a misunderstood role, it's because nobody knows what the hell you're doing. Developers don't know what you're doing. What do you call that? Vendors don't know what you're doing. Your boss doesn't know what you're doing. Only you know what you're doing, and actually reporting some stuff that might or might not be there, unless somebody else proofreads your reports, of course. So yeah, so that's why I think probably the role would be a bit misunderstood from people, and you kind of you can get away with, like, BS sometimes that you put, but I don't encourage that. I always put like 100% of my skills where I can, and I'm really trying to identify vulnerabilities and report them. And I rarely actually get pushback from developers. I think they pretty much understand what I'm trying to show them. I've probably gotten pushback maybe twice for the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, I mean that's a great explanation, and I agree with you 100%. That's I've experienced that myself, and I think you're spot on there. The first thing I think of when I think about pen testing being misunderstood is a lot of people confuse it with red teaming, and I actually kind of fell in this trap that I thought pen testing I was going to be emulating threat actors, and I mean you are a little bit, but at the end of the day, like as a pen tester, at least in my role, like I'm not emulating threat actors. I'm just testing the security of a network or a web application, and I'm not worried about being noisy. I'm not worried about evading detection. I don't care if I send alerts to the blue team because that's not what I'm doing as a pen tester. And furthermore, like I thought that pen testing was more of a red team role. Or red teaming is you get in, you're evading detection, you're being sneaky, and you're doing like actual cybercrime, legal simulated cybercrime. What pen testing, I don't feel like I hacker half the time. I feel like it's more QA for IT more times than not. And don't get me wrong, like you get those opportunities where you're popping shells, but you're not popping shells every day. It's not as thrilling as I thought it was going to be, and that's I made a whole video on this. If the audience wants to check it out, it's watch this before you become a penetration tester. It's one of my most watched videos, and it explains my thoughts more fleshed out and more in a longer video. But yeah, I highly recommend watching it if you guys truly understand what it's like to be a pen tester, like the traps that I fell in coming in the field. Now, I want to end on this. Like, just because I didn't think it was red team and it's not as fun as I thought it was going to be, I still absolutely love my job. I'm totally glad that I went from sysadmin to pen tester. I still very much enjoy my job. It's just a little bit more boring than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, you said boring?
Yeah, I think it does get boring sometimes. I don't love it every day. I don't love it every day. I don't love it every hour, and that's a fact. Um, I do love it more times than not, but it's for me, burnout's definitely a thing, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I love being a pen tester. I love what I do, and I'm always trying to get better at being a pen tester. But it is a grind for me. Like it's not always super fun to me. I'm not having the best time every day.
So my solution to that problem is that if it gets boring at work, go play hack the box, and actually mix up things with something different, solve some challenges. Like get back to basics, read some articles, and I usually do that on a daily basis. So I kind of intermix my work with actually learning new stuff, and that's how I don't get bored at work ever. So my work is basically a combination of me playing some challenges, trying to do some CTFs and things like that, or reading some hacking articles, trying to learn something new.
Yeah, and I have been doing that. I've been doing the Hack the Box Academy. I've been going through the CPTS. Well, it's the penetration tester job role path, which is the prerequisite to get the CPTS certification. That's one certification that I do want to attempt in the future. And I've been having a blast with it. I think it's a really good course, and it has that and DEF CON reignited my passion because I was facing like a lot of burnout. And I don't know. You're right. Going to the CTFs is really fun, and I think that is a way to revive the passion. But like, I think for me, what's difficult is like when I'm working with a client and I'm in their network or I'm on their web app and I'm just not finding any exciting vulnerabilities. Like no matter how hard I try, I'm like bashing my head against a brick wall like the entire day and I'm just stuck. That's when it gets grindy because I'm not finding anything juicy or I'm not finding anything that's, a cool exploit. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that many of my clients like have been pen tested longer than I've been a pen tester. Like they've been pen tested 5, 6, 7 years in a row, and then here I am, a year and a half in my career as a pen tester, and I'm trying to find something that pops out. And don't get me wrong, I do find vulnerabilities that were never exposed before, but they're like low and mediums. I'm not finding those juicy like RCEs, and I'm not popping shells all the time, and that's where it gets boring for me. I think finding root is the true, like popping a shell is like the biggest thrill, and that's why CTFs are a lot of fun. And then the real world, it's not as fun because you're not popping nearly as many shells in the real world, and that's just my experience.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. So you're missing your dopamine kick, right? That you get from a pop in a shell. Well, you're right. It doesn't happen every day at work, but when it does, actually, it's a lot. It's a lot of fun and it's very rewarding as well. So I myself probably, I think I have popped like 3 boxes at work when we were for the last 3 years when I was at the bank. So it was actually a completely different hack that I've never experienced before. So it was one of those .NET systems that have the view state parameter that you can actually send serialized data in it, and actually you can get a shell from it. So that was the pretty cool hack that I discovered, and I haven't done it before in a challenge or a CTF or anything. So that actually gave me a cool kick, and I was like, okay, so this is why I'm actually doing this job. So this is the fun that I get from it. And then in the meantime, again, always you have 20 active machines on Hack the Box. Try pop some shells there. There's plenty of those. Maybe try an insane machine. Then you get really stuck when you know that there is a vulnerability there and you cannot find it. So that's even worse.
Nice, great wisdom. I appreciate those insights. So, changing gears a little bit here, I want to talk about your OSWE certification because that's what's really made me want to bring you into the on the show. Because
Mhm.
OSWE certification is something I dabbled in that course. That's the Web 300 course from OffSec, and one thing that was really hanging up, like one problem that I was having is that it required, or it seemed like it required a lot of coding. So do you think, like, what do you think is the key to success when it comes to the OSWE certification?
Oh yeah, I will definitely tell you. So when if you're a little bit afraid of coding and writing exploits in Python, because when I started OSWE, I didn't have any Python coding skills. I knew a little bit. I actually created a couple of scripts and simple exploits in Python. I think actually when I passed OSCP, we still had the buffer overflow exploit that we had to do. So you have to write a Python script, but it's pretty trivial. So it was not that hard. But for OSWE, I was like, okay, man, I'm really behind with my Python, so that's probably what's gonna get me stuck. So on the contrary, when the exam actually came, what I got stuck on was actually chaining you know, uh, uh, the whole attack together. So all the vulnerabilities within the web app that I was trying to hack. So I was trying to chain them together, and just I was missing certain pieces. So I couldn't get them chained, dynamically, let alone writing an exploit. So my breakthrough actually came, I think, 24 hours in the exam because it's a 48-hour exam. So at the 24 hour, I was like, I had like one flag out of four or something like that. So I had to get 3 flags or something. And I was like, man, I'm really gonna suck at this one and I'm gonna fail. So I accepted my fate. I went outside on the balcony, smoked a cigarette. I was like, okay, I need to, get back to my senses because I'm really not finding it. And I'm not even ready to write the exploit. So I'm not there yet. I cannot hack the system. I have the whole source in front of me. That's embarrassing, very embarrassing. And then I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna brute force the whole code, like meaning like reading line by line every little thing, every parameter to see what's going on in a specific field that I knew that the vulnerability was a specific kind that I'm not gonna mention. But anyway, I knew that it was there, so I was reading every line connected to that type of vulnerability to figure it out. At the end of the day, when I figured it out and when I actually chained the whole thing together, I literally wrote the exploit in 30 minutes. So everything was in my head. The whole attack chain was there, and writing the exploit was the easiest thing that I've ever done. So don't be afraid of writing Python code for OSWE. It's actually very, very simple stuff. It's like literally statement after statement. You send a request there, you get a response. You parse this response, then you send a request somewhere else, then you parse the response, and then back again. That's all there is to it. And then a couple of loops in between.
Thanks for explaining that. And yeah, that's good. That's good reassurance. For me, I learned how to code Python pretty well. I like to consider myself like I was at the intermediate level, and I was doing pretty good. And I was very comfortable with Python, and I wasn't a developer by any means, but I could definitely write programs. And I have an entire blog. If you guys, if the audience wants to check it out, it's my 100 days of code on my website, kyserclark.com. It's also on my GitHub. And yeah, I when I got towards the end of the 100 days, like the last 25 days or so was just a grind because I just started disliking coding. Like at first, it was super fun, but then it kept getting harder and harder because that's what I do. Like I progressively get harder, and then I'm like, dude, this is rough. Like I could never do this for a living. Anyways, fast forward to the release of ChatGPT because I learned how to program before ChatGPT came out, and now, like ever since ChatGPT came out, and even today, like I'm vibe coding like almost everything I do, and I feel like it really hurt my skills because if you don't use them, then they do get rusty, and they do lower in my experience. And I got so mad at myself that I let my skills deteriorate, and I allowed like ChatGPT to like ruin my skills. So now I have to like do some more coding classes just to if I want to go after the OSWE. I think so. That's a long-winded explanation of why I think coding is important. But I do see a lot of people uh, on LinkedIn and YouTube and a lot of influencers saying that you don't have to learn how to code to be in cybersecurity. And I totally disagree with that. Do you agree or disagree with that? And what would you say about that? You don't have to learn. You don't have to know how to code to be in cybersecurity.
So I always avoided coding if possible when it comes to cybersecurity, but that was the moment of truth when I actually had to face writing my own exploit without using ChatGPT on OSWE. So that was actually really good for me that I felt that I'm not scared anymore after I actually passed the exam, and I really felt, hey, if I can do it, then anybody can do it. So it was not that hard to actually write the exploit. So I definitely think coding is a vital skill, definitely. So not only like reading code for source code analysis, but actually writing like snippets of code is very important as well for penetration testers. You don't have to be a software engineer to do like large projects, but you really have to know how to write like small snippets of code to automate testing if possible somewhere, or just in general, like just reading code should be something that every penetration tester should have on their belt.
I agree, and I need to get back into coding. I need to stop relying on ChatGPT to vibe code my way through everything because it's quick, it's easy. Because like when you're in the middle of a pen test, you're like, man, I just need to write a script that does this one thing that's super quick, and I over rely on ChatGPT nowadays too much because as one of the things you mentioned during your security Mad Libs was that you run out of time on pen test engagements. You do have a time limit, and time is money, and time is precious on an engagement. So I'm like, man, I don't got time to sit here and troubleshoot my code all day. Like, I just want to get something that works like right now because I gotta get this engagement done. Um, moving on. So in your current role as a pen tester at Bank of America. I'm assuming that's pretty big and complex environments. So, what's some of the biggest challenges you face when testing those large, complex environments?
Well, what we do actually, my team, we test web applications only. So I don't do any network, internal, external pen tests anymore. I kind of miss it. I used to do that before when I was at the consultancy company. But right now we do web app pen tests. So I wouldn't say that there's like many challenges when it comes to testing that. So maybe sometimes you get more of a I don't know, just an authentication flow and things before you actually start the test. There's like a bunch of hurdles that you might have to pass, but this is not related to the actual pen testing. After that, it's pretty much all the same to me. It's just a web application that I have to hack. I don't care what language it's written on, what system it's on. I'm gonna find it and then start from there. Basically, I guess in order to to make my work easier, I always try to get as much information as possible beforehand from the app teams. Like, for example, what kind of server it's running on. Is it a Linux machine, Windows, what kind of database, Oracle, whatever, MySQL, something, something. So the more information I get, the easier for me to start the testing, actually prepare whatever. If I do any automatic testing with Burp or whatever program we use, then it's much easier to actually do the whole setup. From then on, it's only you. You start like digging through burp requests, responses, and you try to figure out the context of the app and do some manual hacking.
Nice. Thanks for unpacking that. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so I'm going to ask you the final question. Do you have any additional cybersecurity hot takes or hidden wisdom you would like to share?
Well, hot takes for the new people. Don't get scared to get on interviews. Go out there, show yourself. Try to be as confident as possible, even if you are not. Fake it till you make it, they say, right? So it's actually truth for our profession as well. So try to be nice, smile, make people laugh, and then you're gonna pass interviews. Some people don't care about your skills; they care about your personality a lot more. I'm one of those as well.
Great wisdom. Thank you so much for sharing that, Vladimir. And thanks for being on the show. Where can the audience get a hold of you if they want to connect with you?
If anybody wants to reach me out, I'm on LinkedIn. My name is Vladimir Ichkov. They can find me there, so no problem. Anyone is welcome.
And audience, best place to reach me is in the YouTube comments. Drop a comment, ask your questions, provide your insights, expertise, whatever you want. I will reply to those comments and I will see them. Audience, if you are on audio, do me a favor, rate the show 5 stars. If you consume more than one episode and you're really enjoying it and you're really getting value out of it, it would help the show out tremendously if you rated the show 5 stars if you're on audio. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share the show with a friend. Cybersecurity is a lot easier and more fun with friends. Audience, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening. Vladimir and Kyser signing off.
Guys, thank you so much. Keep hacking.